quite often businesses think that adding more engineers will speed up the process of development, but that's not always true. Sometimes it would boost the process, but there are some processes that are like working one by one. So it's not, like adding more engineers will not speed up the process twice, I would say. So it will have some influence, but like not that much. So that depends on the scope of work.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with Iryna Hanchevska. She's the head of business development at Lionwood.software. Iryna, welcome to the show.
Hey, Kelsey, glad to meet you.
Yeah, excited
Thanks
to
for
have you.
inviting.
Yeah, I can't wait. So Iryna, why don't you start and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So I'm currently leading the role of head of business development at Lionwood Software. Lionwood Software is a software development company working with startups, enterprise businesses. So we do software development as the service, like full cycle software development from idea up to product launch and its ongoing support. Talking about me, my background in sales started back in 2014, so quite some time ago. And I started as a sales representative, and it was mainly for B2B, but B2C market. But on my current role, like when I joined Lionwood Software, I was actually doing more sort of B2B sales. I know like everyone is telling that anyway, sales is B2C, but if to generalize, anyway, we work with businesses and we work with different businesses. Those who have just a really small team and starting only, and those who have large businesses who have over 2,000 employees or even more, but the demand is probably the same on different levels. So we're trying to help those.
That's fantastic. So, Lionwood Software offers a wide range of services, and I appreciate, kind of your background and how it leads to where you are now. And I'm curious, walk me through some of the primary services that your company provides.
Sure, absolutely. So, as I said, we have two directions. We work with startups and we also work with bigger companies like mid-size and enterprise businesses. Speaking about startups, we offer IT consulting services. So, when the startup is simply launching, they have nothing, they have an idea, they have tested it on the market, but they somehow need to document their ideas to prove it to investors, like to speak with investors. So we help them uh, generating ideas, typing them on paper, so creating product documentation, doing visual a part of the application, so creating wireframes, designs, like wherever is needed, as well as we work with startups at this stage where they already have documentation, so they know what they need to do. We work them through that process. So we analyze the documentation, we create a proper picture of the future steps to reach that goal, like to develop the product. And step by step, we guide them through those processes. So we do UI/UX designs for the client, like approve with the client. Then we move to the development phase, like where we step by step develop different parts of the application, different functionality. We do also quality assurance testing to make sure that app is ready to be launched, app is ready to go to the market and to have first users. And like generalizing all that, we launched the application. If we are talking about bigger businesses, like those who have their IT departments, typically that happens that on some stages of the company, they need to quickly scale up their software development teams. It's easier for some specific functionality that they do not cover in-house, or they need to do like the development really fast to show that to the market. So we offer also remote dedicated teams. So we select for the client best engineers that matches their criteria, their requirements, and like they collaborate with clients teams. So this is like a sort of not the in-house but an external team working on clients projects. So that can also include project manager, software development team, sometimes designer, quality assurance team. So that depends on the need and the specific task of work.
Hmm. And it sounds like, you're really able to provide that support that a startup needs to say, I've got this great idea. Where do I go from here? So do you tend to see trends in specific industries or, directions that these startups are taking their business?
Like this year, I would say that everyone wants to have AI implemented to their business. So these are different businesses. Someone would like to apply AI for their, let's say, legal stuff to analyze that. The other have other domains, but they want to use AI to analyze data to provide the proper reports. So like it's changing. For example, for the last couple of years, blockchain was at the top trend, I would say. So everyone was speaking about blockchain, crypto, everything like that. This year, I would say that everyone wants to have AI friendly applications. So they say this is the future, and somehow everyone wants to implement it to their business.
I think that's, a really important note that you made, and an interesting kind of observation, because it makes sense that, AI is the hot topic,
Yeah.
wanting to stay ahead of the curve. So I'm curious, why when people are looking for different solutions, why would someone choose Lionwood? What separates Lionwood from its competition?
Sure, good question. Obviously, the competition is quite big, I would say, because there are a lot of software development companies, but we have the spirit that makes like this work a long-lasting one. So I would say that the vast majority of our clients become our long-term partners. So we are speaking about like years of collaboration. So hey, the most of our clients don't do simply the development, but it's like ongoing work with us. So they either scale up their teams or create new projects with us or refer us to their friends. Also, like I would say that transparency is quite meaningful in terms of our work. And like we have quite um like anyone of the team can speak with the client. So our co-founders are really open to to speak with clients. They always engage with them, invite them to our office to have like real-time communication. And obviously I would highlight our expertise. So the majority of our engineers are of middle to senior level. So that means that they worked a lot on different projects. So they know exactly how that works, like where to start, where to go. So they can share their opinion, their like advise clients where to go, like what is better solution or like which one works better. And I would say that in terms of offshore development, we have quite good English level of engineers, so it makes it easier to communicate with developers. So that means that they speak not only with the management, but they speak with the team. So they feel that spirit, they know how to explain their product, like what ideas to share and like share advice.
I think that's fantastic. Those are, several really great differentiating factors. I appreciate you sharing that. And I'm curious to pick your brain a little bit and hear, for businesses looking to engage with Lionwood software, what advice or key factors should they consider when choosing a software development partner?
Sure, good question. So I think that strategic plan is obviously the important fact in terms of selecting software development partners. So clients should have a plan what they aim to reach, what is their goal in terms of developing the software, because the product development is not finished once the product is developed. So you should think strategically ahead, like what will you do next? And when selecting a software development partner, you should definitely consider the capacity of the team. So they are ready to help you with that solution. They can support you later on with that solution. Transparency is also a must. So they should have a plan how they will reach the goal. So they should prepare the plan of reaching it, like sharing their strategic plan. What else is important? So from client's perspective, it's important to have at least some documentation. I'm not saying like really detailed one, but clients need to know like what he is expected, what are the key factors he want to reach with that software development partner. Because if you don't have any plan, it would be really hard to evaluate that team if they reach the goal or they have not, because software development it's quite wide thing, I would say. And when you're simply starting, it's hard to plan even the budget, because requirements are changing, not always, but quite often they are changing. One simple change may influence the whole system. So the more accurate you are about your product, so the better plan the software development team will have. So you should be prepared, and you should have some evaluation points when you select the vendor.
That's
And
really
also,
no,
obviously, the previous expertise is a must. If you're in some specific niche, obviously working with the company that have that expertise will bring you more result than those who are just starting.
I completely agree, and that's really great insight. I appreciate that you sharing that, and I'm curious to pick your brain a little bit. Do you tend to see any common misconceptions within the industry, not necessarily Lionwood software, but just common misconceptions of things that people think are true, which isn't necessarily accurate?
Uh, yes, I would say that like quite often businesses think that adding more engineers will speed up the process of development, but that's not always true. Sometimes it would boost the process, but there are some processes that are like working one by one. So it's not, like adding more engineers will not speed up the process twice, I would say. So it will have some influence, but like not that much. So that depends on the scope of work. And like quite often people do not value quality assurance that much. So they think that it's not that important, that developers should program the way that this app does not have any mistakes or any malfunction. But that's not always true. It's hard to predict everything beforehand, and it's better to test it step by step. So
I appreciate you sharing that. That's great. Well, Iryna, I'm glad that we were able to have this conversation today. And if there, as we start to wrap up, is there anything that you want to leave our listeners with, whether it be advice, whether it be more about Lionwood software, anything that you want to leave our listeners with?
yes, I think a great point to mention is that Lionwood.software knows software development from our own experience. So not only working with clients, but we have our own startup, which makes a lot of expertise. Adds a lot of expertise, I would say. So when COVID started, we started implementing our own solution. It's a learning management system for local schools. So we started that when COVID started, and currently we have over 3,000 users already. So we know what are the processes of software development, how to interact with users, how to engage users, how to build the product, not just the software solution. So I think that preparing is obviously a must for business owner. So you should be prepared for different steps as in terms of product, you should start with small, but grew it after like significantly. And one great example that I would like to share, one of our clients, they are in the event management system. So they wanted to improve their own business of a software solution because there is no software that covers all the needs of event planning, event arrangement. They developed a software for themselves. So they did not plan to sell it to other event agencies, but when they actually started testing the app, they realized that there is no such solution in the world. So there was a high demand for the solution, and currently it's a multi-tenancy system. So their software, they are selling their software to other agencies. So at first, the idea was simply to optimize their own business with that solution, but then they realized that the problem is the same for different businesses in event management. So currently, they're engaging clients and getting some revenue from there too. So it's not always the first thing that you think of is obviously the only solution. So sometimes it can bring you more opportunities.
I think that's really interesting insight, and I appreciate you sharing that with our listeners. Well, I think this has been a terrific conversation. I appreciate all of your knowledge, your experience, and your expertise in the area. Your insights. I think this was a terrific conversation. I really appreciate you being on Business Ninjas today.
Thank you, Kelsey. It was great talking with you. Like you have great series, and hope to see you soon again.
Absolutely.